What's up, everyone? I'm Jack Taylor, and this is Talkin Sports with my dad.
And I'm the dad. I'm Jeff Taylor. Now, on this show, we talk sports, just like fathers and sons have done for generations across the country.
Yeah, and we try to dispel the age-old myth that you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
I guess I'm the old dog?
You're very true,
in this
Dad.
situation, okay.
Yep, you are. Now, today, we're going to talk about whether or not Tiger Woods will ever win another major. We're going to discuss if athletes should be considered role models in today's society, and who is the GOAT quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
Tighten up. Hey, we're also going to talk NIL, whether you should give up on your favorite sports team at any time. We'll talk about Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith, which has the better numbers. So, you ready?
Yep, let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
All right, this is Keep Your Eye on the Ball. Now, we know that despite health issues and car accidents, Tiger has kept his eye on the ball. He's still grinding.
So, the question is this. Will Tiger Woods win another major? I'll let you begin.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one because I'm not entirely sure. You know, it's been just a stretch for him to even walk 18 holes, right? So to then say, is he going to win another one? That's a big, big question mark. I think if anyone could do it at his age with everything he's gone through, I think it's him. You know, but I think that maybe might have been the last time we saw that was when he won the Masters a few years back. That was just a miracle in and of itself.
It was, but and I'm going to say no, he cannot. I just don't think with the health, playing consistently, I mean, that is a grind, and I just don't think he can get his game back to that. But like you said, if there is a place where he could, I could see it being something like Augusta.
Yeah.
Or I could see him going to the old course at St. Andrews, where you don't have to be long off the tee.
Yeah.
You don't have to really be that accurate off the tee, to be honest with you. So somewhere like the old course, or, listen, I bet you he knows every shot there is to know at Augusta.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
every nook and cranny of that course, he knows well. So I think he could do it there. It's just, the equipment is so much better nowadays. You don't get a lot of repeat winners. I mean, you really don't. Every week there's kind of a new winner. And I mean, look at what it took Rory to get back and win the Masters for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, it took him, forever just to get back to a point where he was in contention. So I think it would be good for golf, and I think it'd be good for him. It would take a lot.
I just don't think he can even walk a full 18, let alone win any course. We've seen, he dropped out of, I believe, Quail Hollow a few years back, not even out of just the fact that he wasn't going to make the cutoff, clearly just could not finish the course.
Right, no, I agree with you there. I mean, if you think about the PGA Championship, coming to a place like Quail Hollow, I mean, that course is up and down.
Yeah.
It is long. The grind, I don't think it would be. And I think about the courses that they would play the U.S. Open. I mean, the U.S. Open is known for one thing, especially like Pinehurst number 2, is the rough. And if all of a sudden he's got to take a stand in that rough and take a real good whack at it, the wear and tear on the body would be that. He could, and I get it, and I think everybody'd like to see him do it, but I think it's either going to be Augusta or some place like the Open.
I'd just rather see him just not try.
Step away
honest.
and just be on. Right, don't start and stop.
Yeah, or trickle into live golf if you were to do that, or
go to the seniors.
I mean, yeah, and he probably would do pretty well there.
Right.
Would you consider winning, in his new golf league? Could he win a major in that? Right.
Yeah. But I think also he's done all there is to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about him in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
So I think he's done all he needs to wear. If he walked away, so be it.
I agree, absolutely.
All right, Jack, remember when Charles Barkley said that sports figures should not be considered role models?
Yeah, I remember that. And
do you remember that?
That's pretty appropriate for him as well. It does bring up, though, an interesting conversation. Should athletes be considered as role models in today's society?
Wow. At the end of the day, I think, the role models are your parents and your family. Yeah. And those folks within your community, teachers and stuff like that. But when you talk about role models and professional athletes, I think they should. And I think they have a responsibility to be that.
Yeah.
Because there are kids who want to be them.
Yeah.
And there are kids who are looking up to them. And I think as parents, I want you to have somebody in the sports world that you can look up to.
Yeah.
That maybe drives you a little bit more. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
So
no,
I think in that aspect of it, I think you have a responsibility to do that. But also realize that we're all human.
Yeah.
We're going to screw up. We're going to make mistakes. So you put them on these pedestals, and when they fall, step back and realize, okay, they are human, and use it as a teaching moment.
Yeah, I think honestly, they don't have a choice, right? They're going to be seen
Right,
as role
you're in the
models,
limelight.
whether you want to be or not. And now it's up to people who are choosing their role models to discern whether or not that's a good person to choose or a bad person. I think it would be a good thing for a lot of athletes to remember when they're going about their daily lives, that they are in the limelight,
right.
Whether they want to be or not. People are looking to them to be a positive influence, more so than I think you see for actors or for other people like that, because not only are have their achievements put on full display on, television, whether it's on the field, but
Right.
there's a whole other avenue taken when they show, when they do charitable things.
Right.
It's
a
always
byproduct of what they do for a living.
It absolutely is, but I think, you have to choose what level, what echelon of athlete that you want to choose as a role model. You can't really start at the high school or the college level because they're still kids in that regard, right? So I think you have to wait till they get to the pros. Wait till they get even maybe a few years into the pros before you say, I'm going to make this
college,
mine.
I'd push back a little bit because I could see young kids, seeing a quarterback that plays for Clemson or, South Carolina, we go Lenore Sellers. Some little kid who is playing, Pop Warner, who wants to be Lenore Sellers.
Yeah.
And so from that realm, high school, I get it. But college, I could push back a little bit because at that point, listen, if you're making NIL money and you're representing the school and you're representing that, that team and everything else, people start to look up to you.
Which is a whole other discussion, though, of,
Right.
you have to make sure that, like I said, and that's on the parents, to make
Right.
sure that if they are following these certain people as role model, that
Sure.
you have to have an investment in who that role model is, who that athlete is, say, okay, what does he do in his off time? Do I want my kid emulating this person or
Right.
not? So I think it's kind of a double-edged sword because you could take it and they could have a great career on and off the field, and then one thing could happen, and it's kind of like Tiger Woods. Do you have him as a role model? Do you not? Which time frame of Tiger Woods do you choose to be your role model, right?
Because if you have role models and you put them on those pedestals and they fall, then I think that's where a parent steps in and goes, listen, he made a mistake.
Yeah.
He's going to grow from it. If he continues to make mistakes, that's a different book. But I'm getting at there.
Yeah.
And kudos to the things like the NFL who basically say when you come in, you better have a charity or a community, something you're working with. So kudos to them. I get it.
Do you keep up with the trends or set your own?
Is the color dense enough?
Add more pigment. Launch on social.
We've got to take this global.
All right, so where do we go from here?
You've got to test it, perfect it, expand it. Never rest until it's right.
Introducing the business card that gives back all you put in. The new Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business.
My name is Andrew Dotson. I'm a peer support specialist here at Phoenix Counseling Center. As a young man, 18 years old, I joined the military, went to Afghanistan in 2012. Went through some hard situations, saw some things that were traumatizing. There's a number that I memorized, 105. That's the room number right around the corner. Room 105 was where I stayed last time I was a patient here, right before I got ready to really get sober. The first step in recovery is walking through the door and saying I need help.
Visit ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
I wanted to be healthy. I was newly pregnant.
My periods were always painful, so I texted my friend Elena.
I asked my big sister Naomi.
My best friend Kelsey. She's my go-to.
That's how I found my OBGYN.
I finally feel heard. Thanks, Naomi.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thanks, Elena.
For personalized, convenient care and 24/7 support, find an OBGYN you'll recommend at Atrium Health.
Americans, we can do anything we want, except one thing. We just can't stop being American. So get out there, take your swing, rev your engines and let freedom ring, and never, ever, ever stop being American. Nothing stops America, and nothing stops Ram.
Right now, during the Ram Drive into Fall event, purchase and get 15% below MSRP, or get 0% financing for 72 months on select 2025 Ram 1500 models in dealer stock. See your Carolina Ram dealer today.
Dad, in sports there are always two sides, and I'm usually on the right?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. A lot of times you are.
Whether it's in sports or at least in this show,
not in life.
Oh,
maybe
wow.
sports. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
All right. So this must be one of my favorite segments. I'll pretend I didn't hear that, but yeah, you're right. And the first part of what you said, it's right. There's always two sides to sports. So who should have the upper hand, players or owners?
That's a broad question, but I think if we're talking about, just in presence on the team, I think it should be players. And not even if it's not players, but I think players and the front office staff, right? I think owners should be seen and not heard. You talk about owners throughout the league, you don't really know most of them, right? And the ones you do know, it's for bad reasons. You talk about Jerry Jones, who has the full...
Why did I think of that right off the bat?
Because I know. He is the owner that you think about, and he has full decision-making ability.
Just step away.
And it never really works out well when you're being the GM, the owner. It creates a lot of controversy because there's no back and forth. There's no give and take and decision-making process. I don't necessarily think the players should have decision-making powers,
reign.
because that's where you get the issues of, the rumors around Aaron Rodgers or, LeBron
Right.
James or,
Right.
Tom Brady, what have you. So I think there's definitely a way that you got to step away from it. Even like Magic Johnson back, in that time frame, I think it really should be put upon the front office. You hire them to have the power to make those decisions. As an owner, you should say, I've put the people in place that I need to. I'm a step away. Y'all do what you need to do.
We'll go down a rabbit hole here, but man, I go back and think about the Hornets.
Yeah.
With Michael Jordan a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Not when it came to being an owner.
No, and I think, you're a whole different person at that point.
Right.
In time.
Well, and let me give the owners a little bit of some light here in terms of, I think in terms of the owners, you have to kind of think about, we have no idea what they do or what they have to do.
No.
I mean, they're running an entire, you take, a David Tepper or you take, a Amy Adams Strunk with the Titans. They run an entire NFL team, the number1 sport in the world, and you're in charge of that entire organization. It all starts with putting good people around you.
Yeah.
But for the players, it's a two-way street, and I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer because I get the owners have put their money in all of this.
They have.
But players are putting their body and soul out there.
Yeah.
And so I think that, they should have some conversations. It should be talked about, and I think for me, it's got to be a two-edged sword. It's got to be, both of them need to have a little say.
I just think you hear so often about the bad owners, right?
Right.
Dan Snyder in Washington.
And what's the responsibility of an owner?
Well, Dan Snyder in Washington, it's a dumpster fire for a lot of other reasons other than on the field. But the minute Dan Snyder gets forced out of that position, new owners take over, they make the playoffs, right?
Exactly.
Even the Ford family for the Lions for the longest time, fans in Detroit were so unhappy with their ownership. And then finally now they are starting to make it better. So it does kind of go both ways. And then you look like the Hollis family, with Chicago.
Yep.
And they've been just at the same spot for their entire ownership. Right. So I think there's a lot more times you hear about bad owners than you hear about good owners. I'd say Amy Jo Strunk, one of the best owners out there, but you don't really hear about her because she doesn't do a whole lot differently than what, from the Addams family down. So I think there's a big difference when it comes to that.
Best example, and then we'll move on, to me, is the Rooney family with the Steelers.
Yeah.
That was, look at what they've done forever.
Successful, had nothing they've had to do.
Yep. All right, good topic there, Jack.
Yep.
Time for GOAT Talk with Dad. Over the course of our first season, we're going to look at the GOAT quarterback of every team in the NFL. And today,
we did the Panthers. So.
We did the Panthers, mine. Let's talk the Tennessee Titans. Because I'm the age I am, 57. Yep. For everybody out there, context, the Oilers became the Titans.
Yep.
They moved from Houston to Tennessee.
Same team.
Same team, same organization, same owners in terms of family. So, I can go through and look at, Warren Moon, Steve McNair, George Blanda.
Yeah, wow.
Marcus Mariota, I still love him.
Yep.
They had Kerry Collins.
They did, yep.
But for me, I'll still go Steve McNair. The man put his body out there every single week. I remember him playing with cracked ribs. I remember the Super Bowl they played against the Rams when he was down 7. They came up short, I know, but there was a play where 3 guys had him on the ground. And the game was over.
Yeah.
And somehow or another, he broke the tackle, threw the ball downfield to Kevin Dyson, and gave him one more play with a chance to score. So amongst whatever happened with Steve, being killed on the 4th of July years ago and stuff, he embodied that team in terms of that. Warren Moon might be the best passer in terms of that.
I was going to say, I could go Warren Moon, to be honest, because, Steve McNair, he got you to the team's only Super Bowl, right?
Right, yes.
And got him a yard away from getting that championship. He was the only MVP the Titans have ever had, even though it was and that's a whole other thing.
Right.
But he was the only MVP HBCU grad to get drafted in the
Alcorn
NFL.
State.
That's huge.
Yep.
So I think there's obviously a big resume. But for Warren Moon, when we talked about the Panthers and Cam Newton, Cam Newton allowed for Russell Wilson, RG3, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray. But Warren Moon, you don't have Warren Moon, you don't have Cam Newton.
You don't have Steve
McNair. You don't have
no.
Randall Cunningham, Mike Vick, Deshaun, Donovan
Dante
McNabb.
Culpepper, we can go.
You don't have any of them. So I think Warren Moon really did break that barrier for what a quarterback was supposed to be and supposed to look like, and whether it was pocket passing and his mobile ability as well, And I think that he, when you think about the Oilers and you think about that franchise.
Think about the run and shoot offense that they had with Jack Pardee. It was crazy.
And you think about Earl Campbell, maybe.
Right.
But you think about Warren Moon, and where number 1, he was the first one to do that as a quarterback to make it really prominent. So it's a hard argument to have.
Right.
The bigger one, and we can have this discussion in a different show, who's the best Titans running back?
They've had a few, haven't they?
They've had quite a few, so I think that's another discussion.
And we can talk about that too, down the road. But is that the best NFL team ever in terms of running back lineage?
Another discussion we got to have another day.
We'll have exactly. But I'll give it to Steve McNair. Warren Moon was the man, and he set the table, like you said. For me, Steve McNair, the heart and soul of that team, that was awesome. Took him to the Super Bowl. Just a great guy.
I agree.
When you sign up for a Christian tourist trip, you're getting more than just a trip, you're getting a full experience.
Anybody can travel with us. Although we are a Christian company, we believe that's part of what people are attracted to us.
You not only get to see the sites that are listed in your itinerary, but you get to enjoy the fellowship with the other people that are on the trip.
We offer so many tours that if you have a destination you want to go to, you name it, and we can say, we go there.
Mom's in the doghouse again, huh?
Yep, she sure is.
I cheated on my math test. And that got us into crypto. We're down, but we're gonna rally.
You know, we're gigillionaires now. Wi-Fi works great everywhere, not just the doghouse. Not you too, Beth. Okay, we're all going to the doghouse.
Expand your Wi-Fi footprint with home internet from AT&T. Plus, get big gig savings of $180 a year with no annual contract.
Look at this guy.
What? Yo, sick car, man. Hey, what's going on, bro?
Can I charge my phone? Ooh. Hey, can I get the password for the Wi-Fi?
Yo, let's change the music.
Bose?
Dang. Have I got something in my teeth? Oh.
Loaded with features for everyone.
Nice, man.
How it should be. The Hyundai Elantra.
Get 2.99% APR or $750 bonus cash on the Elantra, or lease for only $229 a month. See your hometown Hyundai dealer.
New look, new time. This is the all-new WCCV News at 9, Charlotte's only primetime news.
A bold new look, a fresh new hour, and the same voices you trust.
We just got an update from CMPD.
All of your high school sports coverage.
All in all, a pretty beautiful day.
Have you had your first pumpkin spice latte?
Not yet. I'm Morgan Fogarty, and this is the new WCCV Charlotte News.
Your only primetime news in Charlotte.
Change isn't coming, it's here.
So here's a crazy stat for you. The other day I heard women's basketball players can make more money in college through NIL than WNBA players can make in their salaries.
You know what that sounds like? An episode of Money Doesn't Grow on Trees. How about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. So the topic...
I don't say that as much as your mom does.
No, mom definitely says that a lot more often. But the topic, of course, NIL. Good thing or bad thing? And I'll let you go on this. I know you have some thoughts.
I could talk for the next 6 minutes.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Okay.
They're college players, quarterbacks, making more than NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Number one, that should never happen.
Yeah.
And it's ruining the game. It's ruining college sports.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, you know, what keeps you to a college now? You can go, and as you're trying to recruit kids as a coach, I don't know that you're going to be there the entire time.
No.
And we're going to stick with, you know, where your younger brother goes to school, Tennessee.
Yep.
Nico Iamaleava.
Yep.
I said it right. Okay. Yep. So he leaves. He made $2 million. He wanted $4 million.
Reportedly.
Goes to UCLA and now is making like $1.5 million.
Yeah.
So he lost money.
Yep.
Got it?
A lot of money.
So then a kid from App State,
Yep.
Joey Aguilar, went to UCLA in the offseason on the transfer portal.
Yep.
Saw that Nico came. So now where is Joey going? Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he's going to make more money than Nico.
Essentially creating the first trade in
right.
college football.
And we're talking trade in college. No, it's gross, and I never in a million years thought I would hear something like that.
Yeah.
It's just not right, and it's going to kill the purity of what college sports is all about. And here's the deal. Nico's brother transferred from Arkansas to UCLA. I don't know if you heard that, but now Arkansas is wanting him to pay a $200,000 buyout.
Which is a whole other
what
situation.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling, and we're ruining sports. Sorry, college sports.
I think it is a good thing in the overall, right? When we talk about, like we just said at the beginning of this segment, talking about women's basketball that's been underfunded, underappreciated for so long. The pay gap between the NBA and the WNBA has been incredibly large.
Which is a different topic.
Which is a different topic, yes, but they still are bringing now, especially with the WNBA reaching more popularity, women's college basketball reaching more popularity. You know, Dawn Staley would have broke the bank as a college basketball player. And in the WNBA. You know, now she's making that money that she deserved as a coach. But even the money she's making as a coach is far and away from what college basketball men's coaches are making and NBA coaches are making, and more so than WNBA coaches. So I think the problem
she might be making more than the South Carolina coach.
Well, yeah.
Maybe, but that's a different story.
So I think that the problem is not that it's a bad thing for college sports. I think college football and how they are not regulating it is a bad thing for the NCAA.
And if you don't watch it there, it's just going to implode everywhere
Because
else.
there's all
it's
these,
the regulation, I agree.
There's all these athletes that aren't going to make it to the pros, that aren't going to make it, that don't have leagues to go to the pros, whether it's soccer, softball, what have you, that deserve to have any money coming in besides scholarship money, because that scholarship money is the bare minimum.
Okay.
So they deserve to have it outside of that.
But they don't deserve both. They don't deserve scholarship and NIL.
I disagree. I
You
think
can't
there
have
needs to be
both.
regulations. And if you're going to take NIL money, you have to stay at that school. You either have to have a cap,
Right.
have something like that, something to that effect.
Got it.
So.
All right, good talk.
Yep.
Okay, let's play Ain't How I Raised You, or Are You a Chip Off the Old Block?
We'll see.
Pretty controversial topic.
All right.
Don't let me down. You ready?
I'm going to try to.
All right,
I'm only
all right,
one man,
exactly.
okay?
All right, so here's the question. Is there a point where it's okay to give up on your team and move on?
You're talking to a resident Charlotte sports fan, and they've definitely tested my patience over the years. Look, I grew up wearing my Panthers jersey to middle school, getting bullied for wearing it because we were the laughing stock of the NFL. Same with the Charlotte Hornets, and I have a buddy of mine who's from the area, but he's a Lakers fan. He's like, just switch. You don't got to root for that organization. Like, no, whether I worked in this field or not, I'd still root for the Hornets.
Right.
Bobcats was a different discussion, but there was a whole lot of controversy around the Bobcats as it is. For me, if you're going to stick with one, as long as you have the right backings for it. Like my little brother, God bless him, when he was growing up, and he says it's not a bandwagon thing, but he became a Patriots fan. But this was peak Tom Brady, so I have to question it. But God bless him, he still roots for them, and he still rooted for them for the last 3-4 years where they've been, an up and down organization. He hasn't gone away. Same with the Tennessee Titans. You've lost more hair than you ever had thanks to the Tennessee Titans.
Absolutely. I think the only way you give up on a team, but this is, and maybe it's a different ball. Like I would say, like if you were in Houston, they moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
You give up on them.
But it was the fans' fault for why they moved.
I know, but for me, like I wasn't in Tennessee. No. I wasn't in Houston. I stuck with them.
Yeah.
I could see that being the only thing. But if you're a true fan, you've got to go through the highs and the lows, because that's what a true fan does.
Yeah.
You're there with them during the highs of highs. You're down there. To me, listen, I'm gonna joke around. It's almost like a marriage vow, sickness and health. Good, bad. You know what I'm getting at?
No, I do.
You stick with them, and at some point, it's all going to turn around. And when those teams turn around, they will. And when they turn around, it's even more special. It's even more joyful when you see that. Like when the Panthers make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And we'll say that. I'll say that.
You can say that.
We can mark the date and time.
Yeah.
But if they do, all the past couple of years kind of go away. If that makes sense.
I
So
think there's
don't
differences.
jump. You're either a fan or you're not. Don't be bandwagon fans. Stick with your team.
I think there's two instances where you can. Relocation. I don't think anybody in Charlotte was rooting for the New Orleans Hornets, especially
I agree.
going to New
No,
Orleans.
I agree.
And then when
That's
your
what I said.
team makes open decisions that do ruin your organization, like it didn't last super long, but the Browns, everything they've done, but then to go back with Deshaun Watson, everything that meant as a team and an organization, for me, that's where I could have
Where
said,
your
all right,
leadership comes in and
Browns
goes.
fans, you can park, you can go somewhere else. You can ride a different wagon, because that speaks to different layers of what they're doing as an organization. Those are the only two instances, though, that I think it's acceptable to move on. Outside of that, you were a fan for a reason. You stick with them. Don't go anywhere.
Agreed.
Let me let you in on a little secret. If you want to protect your future, you'd better call a powerhouse local law firm with the knowledge to go after every dollar you may deserve. Get the James Scott Farron advantage.
When life feels overwhelming, knowing where to turn can make all the difference.
That's why crisis services are here for anyone at any time, no judgment.
If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health, substance use, or feeling lost,
Crisis services are here for you 24/7.
Compassionate, low, or no-cost services.
Whatever your crisis, you always have options. Find the support that's right for you.
Visit ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
You've only got so many weekends. Spend one doing something nobody saw coming. Is it a party, a festival, a race? It's all of that, and all at once. Concerts, tailgating, unbelievable action, 100 reasons to say this is actually awesome. It's fast, it's wild. It's the cutoff race in NASCAR's playoffs, the Wild Card Weekend. The Bank of America Roval 400, Sunday, October 5th. Get tickets at charlottemotorspeedway.com.
There are a lot of ways to win. Some wins are just bigger than others. The insurance companies offer a $5,000 or the Farron Advantage, $300,000.
I call that success.
Call on the Hurt Line and get the James Scott Farron Advantage.
Guys, I've got big news. We are back.
This is so dramatic.
It is very dramatic. It's your favorite show with your favorite people.
The gang's all back together. Wait, hold on. That makes me a favorite person?
I'm Morgan Fogarty.
I'm Fred.
And I'm Ashley Anderson.
And this is all of the news of the day that you will not want to scroll past.
Yeah, we promise you'll be talking about it tomorrow.
WCCB News Edge, weeknights at 10:30 on WCCB Charlotte.
You know us.
I hope you love us. We're back.
Let's go.
All right, Dad, break up my allowance. Give me $1.
I already did.
You get, give me the other one.
No,
right?
you have to earn. You got to earn this one.
Sure. All right. I'm going to do it here for
Okay.
when we do the buck stops here. So I'm going to bet this dollar bill right here. I can convince you that Emmitt Smith's record with 18,355 rushing yards is better than Jerry Rice's 22,000 plus receiving yards.
Go.
All right. I'm going right here. Look at the main reason why. Okay, Emmitt Smith was able to do this consistently with the Dallas Cowboys. Sure, he was for a time, pinnacle of their offense, but then you bring in Michael Irvin, one of their best wide receivers ever, who's putting up big numbers in his career.
Right.
And they're still able to coexist, and Emmitt Smith is still able to put up those insane numbers. You talk about who they had at quarterback, who they had wide receiver, the years of success they had. The Cowboys were the Cowboys because of Emmitt Smith at that time frame.
Are you sure?
They haven't been successful.
I mean, Troy Aikman.
I agree, but that's
Michael Irvin.
The fact that he was still able to put up that many
Yeah, but if
yards,
you have that good of a passing game, it opens up the running game.
But you don't need to run the ball that often if you have that passing game. And it's a different, and it was that, you could say, like you always say, it was a different NFL,
right.
More smash mouth NFL.
Right.
So he's getting those rushing yards. They're putting more into it because he's able to be, he was my favorite running back growing up. I didn't get to see him obviously ever play, but I knew the aura of him,
right.
And I gravitated to it. So for me, it's Emmitt Smith.
Right. Yeah. Jerry Rice, to have the yardage that he had, the 22,000 plus. He had one of the greatest quarterbacks throwing to him in Joe Montana.
Which?
They didn't have much. Well, I take that back. They had Roger Craig.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other receivers that they had around him. But in terms of who they had around him, he carried that team.
He definitely did.
It was basically just him doing the work. But he did have, like I said, Joe Montana throwing to him. I don't have a lot.
I think for Jerry Rice.
I agree. I think this leads, we can open this up for even more of a topic, and we can do it right now. I think getting that yards on the ground is more impressive than getting it through the air.
I'd say so.
I agree.
I think Jerry Rice, what goes for him is the touchdowns.
Yes.
The amount of touchdowns that he had as a receiver,
Exactly.
He was just dominant. And I do think if you have the conversation, Jerry Rice is arguably the best wide receiver of all time. With Emmitt Smith, though, there's a lot of competition. Eric Dickerson.
Sure.
You talk about different guys that you could be and put in that position.
But he still holds the top record.
But he still holds the top record, and for me, that's what makes him so influential and impactful.
I get it. No, I absolutely get it. And I think for Jerry Rice, listen, go ahead, take that.
Oh, knocked the bobblehead down.
You can. No, you're good.
All right.
You knocked yourself over there.
There it is.
So yeah, I think you're right.
There it is.
Good one there. I'll give you that.
All right.
All right. Cool.
Well, that's it for Talkin Sports with my dad over here.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us. If you have any topics you want us to debate, talk about, please hit us up on our socials, and we'll see you next time right here on Talkin Sports with my dad.